Hello there guys, and welcome back to our car modeling tutorial. And today I think what we'll do is we will work on the headlights. Hopefully if we've got time we'll work on the rear lights too. So in the last episode we got everything finished and smooth, so we're looking pretty good in general with the whole model now. So it's just a case of getting those final details on and then having a look at the actual wheels themselves. So what we'll try to do is get the headlights done first, the rear lights done afterwards, and then we'll have a look at putting all the little details like the exhaust, our grids inside here, and I think that'll be us getting there pretty close. So what we'll do then is we'll start with these lights. So in my orthographic view here I've just isolated the sections that I actually want, which is the hood, the image plane, and this lower bumper here as well. So what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to firstly make sure that we are looking good around the whole of this light here. So we can see that on my model here we're not quite there because this section here does look like it needs to be higher. So what we'll do firstly is we'll just see if we can drag it there into position, and then we can double check in our front view here as well by pulling that up, and then we'll do the same. Maybe that's okay because it is the top line we're looking for, so we'll pull that down a bit more, something like that. And we just want to make sure that we haven't disturbed anything here. Still looking good, which we are. Perfect. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create a kind of cage which has this element running all the way around the outside. Then we can extrude that in, and it's actually going to be what the glass is attached to. So I think what we'll do for this is we will use a basic plane. Now I may fast forward a lot of these elements here to see if we can try and get both of these done in the same episode, but we'll see how we go just now. Let's see, so the plane here, we're going to want to take all these subdivisions down. And we'll just pull that roughly into position up here and up here. So what we're going to want to do is remove our smoothing elements from here, because essentially what we're going to want is we are going to want this to reflect the same geometry that we have on the outside here. So firstly what we'll want to do is grab the vertices here, and we will snap to the innermost point. Now let me just open up my reference here and we'll see how we want to do this. Yeah, so we'll go to the innermost point, or maybe go to the second one, and then we'll grab this one up here and we'll do the same. So we'll go to that second spot, and then we're going to drag and snap holding V the vertices as well, and we're just going to pull them out a bit just so that they're perfectly level with the element that we're working with. Let's just move this around in our top view slightly. And if we manage to reflect the geometry quite well as we go, it will be a case of that's actually quite thick. It will be a case of it should fall exactly how we want it to without us having to do too much work. So we'll just do the same up here. We'll now extrude this out and up. Let's just isolate these here so we're not snapping to anything that we don't need to. Okay, let's just make sure we get that perfect. I want to pull that down to kind of reflect that same size again, something like this. Now it looks like maybe here we actually don't want to be that thick, because it looks like this is actually the first row of the LED, so we'll take this in a little bit more. A little bit closer up here. and then we will hit Control E here and we'll bring out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed this up and I'm going to extrude along, merge into all these points just as we did around here. Okay, so we can see that we've got quite a nice shape going to that. We're matching the correct curvature of the body here around the top and the bottom. Now I think I may have extruded in a little bit early here, so what I'll do is I'm just going to quickly delete that, because looking in the top view here, or the front view even, we can see that we actually do need to come quite considerably higher. So let's grab these points here, and what we'll do is before we smooth it, we'll make sure that these are sitting how they should in all views, and then we'll extrude in, because I think it'll be a bit too tricky once we've actually extruded to make sure that these are all sitting in line quite nicely. So again, I'll fast forward the video here a little bit. Okay, so we're looking at pretty decent there now. We've got some nice decent shape to it. So let's grab these inside edges now again and extrude these in. And again, we're going to want to go in fairly far here, but make sure we're not interfering too much with anything else. Let's straighten that off there. Okay. So along this top edge here, we're looking good. Along this edge here, we're looking good as well. Now what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to insert some edge loops here. And we'll go around this and this, just to help make sure that we're maintaining that level of thickness down there. And we'll also go on this underside here. We'll go on here as well. And then finally, we're just going to want to add 2 in each of these corners that are opposite to each other, here and here. Okay, so now we can see that we've got that nice section running all up and around there. Got a little bit of depth to it too, which is looking pretty good. So what we're going to want to do now is just make it nice and shiny. So what we're going to want to do now is have a think about the LEDs. So it has some daytime running lights which go all the way up and around here. And then we also have what it looks like the signals on the outside here. So think what we'll do is we'll build maybe the signals together, and then I can fast forward doing this higher section up here. So what we'll do is we'll make this out of a plane. Now it looks to me like these signals here shouldn't be too tricky to do, so let's just take our subdivisions back down here to 1, and then we'll just rotate it slightly so we can see it better in this frontal view. So because we've got these individual blocks here, we don't have the blocks on this section. This section looks more flush with the LEDs just placed on top. So inside here what we're going to want to do is make it so that we have a square for each one of these individual lights here. So we'll bring these down and we'll go inside, so we're going in and behind the actual frame that we've just created. And we'll go fairly far so we don't see anything that we don't want to here. Okay, and then we'll get this positioned in the top view as well. So we can see that we've got some quite extreme edges to this angle, should I say. So we're going something like that. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to extrude essentially all the way around here to match what we are working with there. And we can bring it down here, like so. And what I'm going to do is insert some edge loops which will correspond with each of the individual blocks here, which will then allow me to kind of consolidate this curve a little bit better. Okay. And then what we'll do is we'll just maybe maintain a half decent curve on this side as well. So we can see that that's all merging quite nicely into that interior edge anyway. What we'll do is we'll grab all of the edges here and we'll extrude in as well. So it looks like there's a little bit of depth to this, because it looks like in turn this actually then becomes the side of where the headlight is sitting. So it actually comes around up here, so maybe move that out ever so slightly. Which will then allow us to pull these higher points up and around here. Okay. And then we'll maybe grab these top two and we'll just pull them up ever so slightly as well. So that looks pretty good. Now what we'll do is we'll grab each of these faces here and we're going to hit Ctrl E and we're going to turn keep faces together off. So that's going to allow us to bring these in but maintain an edge here. What we may want to do is, instead of doing that, we'll grab these faces again, we'll hit Ctrl E, turn the keep faces off, and we'll just extrude in ever so slightly in there. And then we can use this time here just to make sure that we're lining up a little bit nicer. So this is actually incorrect what it looks like on this model here. Actually it looks like I'm incorrect. It looks like I'm going to be more like this. And what we're going to do is to each of these here, we want this gap at the top to reflect the same gap that we have down here. So we can see that each of these are slightly thicker because we've got the kind of double edges going through. So I'll do that there. The rest of that's looking okay. So we'll grab each of these faces here now. We'll hit Ctrl E. And on the world option we will drag these in. Now it looks like they go in quite a little bit, something like that. And then we can maybe have them just scale in ever so slightly, just to kind of give it a bit more depth. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. We are going to want to smooth this, so what we'll do is we'll insert some edge loops, and I think what we'll want to do is run one all the way up here, all the way around here, drop one here, and then at the back maybe put one down the middle as well. And we'll maybe drop an extra one here. Okay, so that's smoothed quite nicely. It's got kind of a little step to it. Maybe what we'll want to do is insert some edge loops around each of these sections here. Maybe go here as well, just so that we're not kind of scooping in, because it doesn't look like it does that. It does look like it's somewhat sharp. Okay, that's looking a little bit better there. So that's looking okay, so let's get our material applied to this. Now what you'll want to do is you want to make sure that you get all the same material applied, because when it does come to rendering, if you're half decent with your lighting, it will be a case that these will merge together quite nicely. And then it just looks like we've got some basic LEDs inside here, so what we'll do is we'll just drop some spheres inside, and we'll maybe just take these down to 10 and 10, because what's going to happen is when you apply a chrome-like material to this, the less sides it has, the actual better reflections it will give, because it will be a high contrast between all of the smaller, well, the many shapes attached to this. So if you drop that in something like that. We'll just push that into place. And then we can just hit Ctrl D to duplicate this. Looks like we'll want to push these out now. And our last one here. Maybe get a little bit more of a turn in there. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. It's got those LED lights sat inside there. So what we'll do now is we'll follow the very similar principle, and we'll go up and around here for the LED sections as well, and then we'll hopefully get started on that section in the center. So I think we're maybe a little bit ambitious, thinking that we'll get both rear and front lights done in this episode here. What we'll do is we'll do the same as we did for the front. I'll maybe speed this a little bit up. Again, we'll want to reduce this down to 1 and 1. Get a little bit of rotation in here so we can start working. So, what we'll want to do with this is, let's unsmooth this a second. What we'll probably want to do with this is we'll probably want to have this reflect the same geometry, because it does look like it goes all the way up and around. So if you have it run 1, 2, 3, so if we make it a case here that this one, so if we can grab this and this, isolate this here. So I think what we'll want to do is if we grab this and snap it up here. Now it doesn't roughly matter where we snap it just now, because what we will do is indent it ever so slightly anyway. So we'll just snap it to any of these corner points, edge points just now. Let's go there. I think we've got one too many edges. Okay. Oh, maybe not. What I actually want here is this. So I actually want an edge kind of corner inside here. We can drop another vertices up here. And then what we'll do is we'll snap all of these too. So before we do, let's just make sure we're at least on the same one. So that's on the furthest most outside edge. So it's that one. That one's on the inside, so we'll just move that up here. And that one's fine as well. So what we're going to do is we're just going to snap again to each of these and then move out. And then we can use our view up here to kind of get in the right spot. So maybe we'll use the front view here. Check our top view. Okay, so it'll look something like that. It's a bit tricky because of the lack of geometry that we have in that area, but should be fine. So smooth this off again. Smooth this to follow. So we can see now again we've got that nice edge which is reflecting exactly what we want. And it looks like it's inside a little bit. Maybe we can see in the front view here, yeah, that starts about there. So quite somewhat indented inside there, which is fine. And what we'll do with this is on all of these edges we'll hit Control. Let's just smooth that real quick. We'll pull this in. Now again, if we pull this in, what's actually happening is this one and this one are moving down. I think what we'll want is this to sit probably to be much further in here to meet the top of this point. So I'm actually going to merge that here. And bring this one up and in. So I think we want to be something like that, and then this edge, this vertices and this vertices can come in slightly as well. So these appear to actually come up and along here. Like so. So we're going to want to set some edge loops on here, so we'll drag one to this side, here and here. Also have one on this inside edge as well. Let's just isolate this real quick. Okay, so we've got one which is run around there, that's fine. We'll insert an edge loop at the bottom here, and we'll insert an edge loop at the top as well. Okay, so we can see now that we've got a real nice curved section there. And what I'm going to do again is add our darker material to this as well. Okay, so we can see that we've got quite a nice surround in there, we've got quite a nice little curve to it. Now it does look like these have some square ridges on it. So I think what we'll do with that is we'll actually have some external polygons which make up that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to speed up the video real quick, because what I'm going to do is put in all of the LEDs up here in a similar fashion to how we did with these, just line them up all the way along. And then I'm just going to put the ridge sections in before making a start on the actual main headlight itself. Okay, so that took some serious time, but I think we got there in the end, so we're looking pretty good now on that side. There's a few little overlapping sections in there, but it's not a big issue because it will be the same colour. I think it's just a case of requiring to pull a point or so back through the way rather than anything else. So what I'll do is I'll quickly run through and pull these points through. So what we're going to do now is work on the actual centerpiece, the actual light itself, which is this part here, and we'll do that by using a, let's have a go at this with a cylinder. So let's bring this out here and let's rotate this around facing forward. And what we could do with this is, I think 20 should be fine. Subdivisions in there should be okay. And what we'll want to do is bring this in without rotating it. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to scale this to the largest point, which looks like that. It looks like it's going to sit something like that. Okay, so it looks like that's the largest point. So what we'll want to do is we'll want to grab all the front faces here, and we're going to hit Control E, and we can see that this is actually going to come out down here. And then what we can do is we can bring that down to roughly the right size there. Okay. And what we'll also do is we'll insert, actually we'll do that afterwards. We'll grab all these faces again, so they're nice and easy to grab, and we're going to hit Control E again, and we'll scale this down ever so slightly here. We'll hit Control E again, and then we're just going to go in, and what we'll want to do right now is we will want to, let's see if we can see it here. Actually, what we'll do is we'll want to maintain what we've got there, so let's duplicate this real quick, and I'm going to delete everything apart from the inside face. So keep this section here. So if we go back to these faces, what we can do is let's scale them down a little bit. We'll hit Control E again, and we'll go inside, we'll scale them down again, and then we'll go Control E inside again, and we'll scale down, just so we're kind of creating more of a curved inside section there. What I think we'll want to do as well is we'll want to insert an edge loop here, and we'll maybe add a bit more curve to that as well. Okay. We will insert an edge loop on this outside here, and we will increase the size there to give it more of a rounded section, which looks pretty good. I think what we'll also want to do is insert an edge loop around here and pull that out slightly so it's got more of a curve to it. Okay, and what I'll do is insert some edge loops here and here, and then we'll go on the edges here because we are going to want to smooth this. So that looks pretty good. So we can get our material on there. Okay, and then finally what we've got here is this is going to be the actual piece of glass that sits inside here. But what we'll want to do for this is we'll want to grab all the faces and hit Ctrl E, and we're going to want to bring this out, maybe bring it out to about there, hit Ctrl E again, and then we're just going to give this a nice curve as well, something like that. And then what we'll do with this is just delete all of the inside faces here. So we can see through that nicely. Maybe that is a bit too sharp. Bring that a bit further forward. Okay, and then we'll do the same with this. We'll insert a couple of edge loops around here. And then for this one, we have a glass material already which we can select. And then we'll just pull that inside. It looks like it's inset a little, like so. Maybe not quite so curved. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Quite happy with that. So the only thing that I'm going to do now is I'm just going to adjust all of these now so that there's no gap on the top and the bottom here. So I'll call this episode here. I'm going to then, once I've closed up those gaps, I'll flip this over to the other side, and then in the next episode what we'll do is we'll maybe put some glass over the top, and then what we'll do is we'll work on the rear lights as well. Okay guys, cool.